Hi guys, today we're gonna study the serous membrane. Okay, so today we're gonna study the serous membrane topic. So in this lecture, we're gonna study the serous membrane, what are the types of serous membrane, and where we can find this serous membrane or where it is located within our body, within a human body. So in previous lecture, in previous body cavity lecture, we have studied that there is a the cavity divided into two parts, that is body dorsal cavity and ventral cavity. And the ventral cavity, it is further divided into three parts, that is thoracic and the abdominal and the pelvic cavity. This three cavity, it is comes under the ventral cavity. So it is, this lecture is related to that lecture, because in this we're gonna study the cavity and it is covered by some membrane. So there are total three serous membrane inside our body, okay, which cover the cavity. Okay, so what are those cavity and what is the name of that, the serous membrane which covering that cavity, we're gonna study in this lecture. So serous membrane, the first thing which we need to keep in mind, the serous membrane, it has a two layer. Okay, outer layer, it is my notes. Okay, so I'll try to make you understand. So serous membrane, it has a two membrane. First one is the outer membrane, and the inner one is the second layer. Okay, outer layer is known as the parietal layer, and the inner layer is known as the visceral layer. So okay, people often get confused between the outer inner layer name. Okay, so the way I remember it, like inner means it's starting with the E. Okay, inner. And inner layer we know, the inner layer we know as a visceral layer. So visceral layer, it is also starting from V, means the starting the letter. Okay, it's starting from the E something. Okay, that the when we pronunciate these words, the so the both the inner and the visceral, it is starting from the E pronunciation. Okay, so you can remember in that manner, inner layer it is called as the visceral layer, and the outer layer it is known as the parietal layer. So this is the first thing which you have to remember. Next, what are the three serous membrane? First, pleura membrane, second one is the pericardial membrane, and third is the peritoneum membrane. First one pleura, second one parietal, third one is the peritoneum membrane. But where we can find that? Pleura membrane. So every medical student, pleura means it is related to the lungs, pericardial means it is related to the heart, and the peritoneum, it is related to the abdominal. But the I think college level student, they will hear these terms first time, means pleura. Pleura means it is the membrane. Okay, we are discussing the pleura. It is the layer which covers the lung area, lung part. Okay, so the pleura membrane is actually a serous membrane. Okay, so but how this membrane cover the organ, we're gonna study now. Okay, so let's take example, like let's consider apple. Okay, let's consider apple. Okay, this is the apple. And let's take balloon. Okay, balloon, this is a balloon. So if I use this apple, in what I'll do, that this apple, I will try to press the balloon with this apple. So what's gonna happen? This balloon structure will be like this. Okay, this balloon structure will be like somewhat be like this. Okay, an apple with let me draw again. Okay, let me use this. Okay, I'm gonna use here. Okay, okay, so what I'm gonna do, we have apple. Okay, this is from, we have apple. Okay, and we have a balloon. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, that I'll try to pressurize this balloon with this apple. So what's gonna happen, that the structure will be, okay, let me draw first apple. Okay, this is apple. Okay, this is apple, and the balloon will be like this. Okay, this is, okay, what's gonna happen there? Okay, so this is the structure, this is the final structure we'll get. Means that apple will be inside of this balloon, and there will be some gap, means not the gap, but we can connect like this. Okay, so you can see it will form the two layer. This outer layer we know what we call parietal, and inner layer we call visceral, and this organ will be inside of it, and the gap between this membrane and the organ, it is filled with the serous fluid. And what is the function of the serous fluid? It is act as a shock absorbent, means any pressure on the organ from the outside environment, so this fluid will absorb that shock, that force, and it will protect that organ. So that is the main function of that fluid. I think in between there is a membrane, and that we know as a serous membrane. There will be some also fluid, and the main function of this serous fluid is to protect the organ. It will protect the organ from the outside force or outside shock. Okay, so that is the main function, and that is the final. Let me show you again that image. Okay, so this is the final structure we'll get. So that's how the organ and the serous membrane connection, that's how they stay together. Okay, so that is the final structure. Okay, so I said serous membrane, it is divided into it has a three type. Pleural membrane, which is same, it is a serous membrane, but name is different. First one is pleura, second one is the pericardial, and third one is the peritoneal membrane. Pleura membrane you will find around the lungs. You can see in this picture, in between there is a lung, and this balloon structure, means the example which I have told you, this balloon structure is this serous, and here means when we are talking about the lungs, its covering, we'll call that membrane is pleura membrane, not serous membrane. When we are talking about the lungs, that serous membrane is known as a pleura membrane. Okay, so what I have written, thoracic cavity lined internally by serous membrane, outer layer is called parietal, inner layer is called visceral, and this membrane is known as a pleural membrane. Pericardial membrane, same, it is covering the serous membrane, covering our heart structure, and this when we are talking about the heart covering, so we'll call that serous membrane as a pericardial membrane, not serous membrane, pericardial membrane. But same, outer layer will be same, parietal, and inner layer will be visceral. Same, abdominal area. So abdominal, we have lots of organ like large intestine, small intestine, and other organs also. So that whole organ will be covered into membrane, which will consider as a peritoneal membrane, and same, it will has that fluid, the function will be the same, to protect the internal organ. What I have written is serous membrane, line body cavity forming two membrane, lubricate fluid derived from the serum. Okay, serum, it is the starting part. Okay, right now just keep in mind serous membrane. Serous membrane, it is the membrane which covers the body cavity, and there are three body cavity which is specifically covered by the serous membrane. And when we are talking about the specific organ, the serous membrane has a different name. So when we are talking about the lungs, that serous membrane will be known as the pleural membrane. And when we are talking about the heart, that serous membrane will be will be called as pericardial membrane. And when we are talking about the abdominal cavity, that serous membrane will be known as peritoneum cavity. So that's all about the serous membrane and its relation with the body cavity. So I think that's it from my side. Thank you. Take care.